So I'm currently in the process of creating a coloring book. But I didn't want it to be just any type of coloring book. I want it to be a book that also highlights women from different cultures all over the world. How unique the sense of expression can be. How people choose to dress based on different traditions, locations, and history. A book to unite different and unique cultures. Some that might be in the risk of being overthrown and forgotten due to new social structures and Western ideologies. A way of appreciating and learning about a range of different cultures in an entertaining way. My goal is not to inform or educate about their different cultures, as I feel like I'm not in any way qualified to speak on their behalf, but rather to showcase them and illustrate their characteristics in my own artistic ways. And if it sparks any curiosity, you can go deeper into their culture and customs. I don't have a specific way to choose who I illustrate. I want it to be a diverse representation of people from all over the world. But the selection process happens rather organically and intuitively, but also visually. That I select people that wear garments and accessories that would not only be interesting to draw, but also to color in at a later point. I'm not only mentioning this to inform you, but also for me to put it out there, so that I have to be accountable for actually going through with it and creating it. If there is any culture, people, or community you would like for me to represent in the coloring book, please let me know so I can consider it. I would love for you to be a part of the creation of this, and I bet you guys have wonderful ideas. The photographer Jimmy Nelson has been a name that has continuously been popping up throughout this process. He's a British photographer that is dedicating his life to documenting global Indigenous cultures. His portraits of people from all over the world are absolutely stunning and worth looking into. He grew up close to a lot of the communities that he has photographed and has spent his life trying to reconnect with them through photography. In his words, he says, "It thrills me trying to reconnect with it. It's not the photography which thrills me, but it's using the camera to see the other and present them in a way that we've not normally seen them. I want the world to look at these Indigenous communities in a way which we take for granted when we look at ourselves." One of his own inspirations was Edward S. Curtis. He was an American photographer who spent more than 30 years documenting and living amongst Indigenous natives in America around the early 1900s. The inspiration for this particular illustration I'm doing here is the Mwila People, and I'm very sorry if I'm butchering any of these names. The Mwila people are a semi-nomadic ethnic group living in the southern Angola in the area of Huila. They're famous for keeping to their traditions and the unique ways they exhibit their hairstyles, ways of dressing, and of course the way they adorn their bodies with ornaments and jewelries. They speak Mwila, which is a dialect of the Nyaneka Bantu language. Women coat their hair with a red paste called unkula, which is made of crushed red stone. They decorate their hair with beads and cowrie shells. Plaits are called nuntumbi and have precise meanings. Women usually have 4 or 6 nuntubi, but if they only have 3, it means that someone in their family died. When the women are young girls, they wear heavy red necklaces covered with a mix of soil and latex. Later, girls wear a set of yellow necklaces called vikeka, made of wicker covered with earth. Once married, they start to wear a set of stacked up bead necklaces called vilinda. Nowadays, more and more men and women dress in a Western way because people used to make fun of them when they went into the markets to trade their goods. The culture are in a constant pressure due to the increasing presence of Christian missionaries and the migration of the youth towards the urban centers. Jimmy Nelson, the photographer I mentioned earlier, said in an interview, "The world is homogenized. It is globalized and ultimately it is digitalized. And through that digitalization, we've gained access to how the other looks in the world. And we use that as a visual reference, and an enormous amount of these cultures are gaining access to the World Wide Web. They're being reflective and doubtful in the wealth of their own existence, and they're abandoning it very quickly." In his new digital publishing called Homage to Humanity, which you can visit on his website, he is revisiting communities that he had already photographed earlier and seeing how things have changed. Some of the profits from his work goes back to the communities. And when answering a question about how he saw the future of the communities, he said, "They will all end up with a smartphone. They will all end up digitally connected to the world. But they will celebrate their culture. They will celebrate their individuality, their authenticity, and the knowledge that they have, and realize that they're extraordinarily wealthy. They will move on with us, happily and healthily, into the future as the last bastions and owners and righteous beings of the world's last natural and most beautiful habitants." I've created a playlist that includes the illustrations that will be in the coloring book, and there's many more to come. I'm hoping for the coloring book to come out during the springtime, all based on to what extent and efficiency I'm able to create illustrations, while of course balancing out my other responsibilities. Feel free to join me on this journey. On my Instagram, you can get more glimpses of the project and also updates. Until next time.